Folks, this is the time of year when both Alfred and I uh, begin to notice that a lot of people in our classes, a lot of people in our social life are losing loved ones. And so many people have lost people during the holiday seasons. People may have been here last year or 2 years ago or 5 years ago, but they're not here in the human form this year. How do you handle that? Well, it's really hard because what we have is what I call the absence of the presence. We know that that soul is beautiful, they're happy, they're younger, they look great. But for us, we have the memory of the person being in our life for 20, 30, 40 years, and suddenly one day you can't call them. And they're not coming for Thanksgiving dinner, they're not coming for Christmas. How do you handle that? I think one of the most important things is to remember our greatest fear, Alfred, our greatest concern is that we fear that that person's identity, the consciousness of that individual, may no longer be there. Because if you can't talk to them and have a dialogue on the phone or in person, gee, I wonder if they're really there or have they moved on? I hear this a lot, Alfred, from people. Have my loved ones moved on?
Yeah, and that's what Hans was trying to say is we take it for granted. They're on the other side, they're happy, they're continuing their life, they're meeting with their friends on the other side, they get to pick whatever appearance, which is usually a younger appearance, they're more vibrant. That is for us just common common way to look at someone on the other side.
Mm-hmm. And the truth of the matter is, always remember this, my friends. This is the illusion. This life that you and Alfred and I and Bella and all, this is the illusion. Spirit, in fact, is the reality. For instance, when I go off to school, when I'm young and I go off to school, and that takes a big chunk of my life up every day, is the school, in fact, my reality? No. Home is your reality. The school is something you agree to participate in. So it's an illusional type of thing. In other words, it's a choice that we make.
So what we're trying to do is help you understand that the easiest, the simple way to deal with someone's passing is to realize there is no question whether their consciousness continued. There is no question whether they're happy. Basically, you can take for granted they're in bliss, they're in joy,
Mm-hmm.
they're happy,
We're glad to be out of here.
they're glad to be
They're glad to be out of
they're
here.
glad to be out of here.
Not glad to leave their loved ones, Alfred, but
No.
glad to be out of the heaviness. This energy is very heavy when we're on this side, as you know, Alfred. And so having an ability to uh, uh, be lighter and have the same consciousness, it's a big difference.
That, and also to realize that just because they've passed to the other side, also take it for granted that they are around you.
Yes.
And waiting for you to ask them for help.
Yeah, and you know, Alfred, one of the biggest questions that I get is, can they hear me? In other words, the identity of the individual. Can that still hear me the same way that it heard me on this side on the phone or in person? The answer is absolutely. In fact, it's even magnified. So one of the things that we teach in our classes is always remember to ask your loved ones for things. Always remember to include them. I include my dad in my driving, even if I'm just going down to the market and back. I include him in that. Bring those on the other side back into your life, and so you still have them in your heart.
Yeah, so take it for granted that they've continued, they're in a better space, that they hear you, they are around you, and take it for granted that you can do fun things. You can ask. It doesn't have to be serious always. You can go shopping, go for a beer, go for a walk, go for a drive, whatever that person liked to do on this side with you, you can pretty much take it for granted that they
The other day I went to a movie Alfred was teaching a class, and so I said to my dad, "Come on, let's go to the movie." And I could feel his presence sitting right beside me. I could feel him. And so, what I want to say to you is, for those of you who've lost someone to the spirit world, the holidays always bring up a sense of a little pain, a little sadness. For some of you, maybe you've lost both of your parents. Maybe you even lost a brother or a sister, or even worse, the appearance of a child. Know that those people are no more than a thought away from you. The only thing that distances you from them is your own thought form.
Doubt.
The big one.
Doubt.
Huge. Doubt really, Alfred, separates.
Yes.
Right.
So have no doubt that they've survived. Have no doubt that they're around you. Have no doubt that you can still interact with them.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, Alfred, so many people believe, but when it comes to issues of the loss of a person, their belief gets really tested. Because they think, well, I know it works for other people, but are my people really still around me? And one of the things that we ask you to do to prove it is give them things to do.
Okay.
And what's the one we use? A parking space, you know,
The
this
parking ferry.
Parking ferry. And just give them things to do. Please help my son. He's trying to get into this university. Just implore them to come on in. And I used to tell people, set a table, a space at the table for the one that you lost that you're mourning. Set it, because they're there. Okay? They're there.